We can't just do nothing and sit around all day and watch TV. How would we feel if our nation was taken over? Our families were being slaughtered and the rest of the world ignored us as we cried for help. It's time that we take action. It's time that we pray.
Brother, sister.
To India now, where there has been a rise in the number of attacks on churches and Christian gatherings. They are being carried out by right-wing Hindu groups emboldened by new laws that crack down on religious conversion. Critics say these groups are abusing the laws to push their own agenda, often facing no consequences themselves. DW Delhi correspondent Nimisha Jaiswal travelled to the town of Hubballi in the southern state of Karnataka to meet a pastor who has shut down his church in the face of continued abuse.
The highlight of Pastor Somu Avaradhi's week has always been the Sunday service. But now, he is praying alone at his church in Hubli. It is the first time he has been back in more than 3 months. Last October, as the pastor was on his way to the church, he received urgent phone calls warning him that volunteers linked with Hindu right-wing groups were disrupting the Sunday prayer gathering there. They had barged in and started loudly chanting Hindu hymns. When the pastor arrived to question them, they claimed that they had proof he had tried to forcefully convert a Hindu man in their midst. The pastor said he'd never met the alleged victim before, yet he was still taken to the police station on charges of verbally abusing a man from a protected caste.
I was the one who called the police. I was going to file a case against them, but they pushed me aside and started beating me. They beat 7 members of my church. They entered the police station and abused and threatened me.
No action has been taken against the Hindu group. It was the pastor who spent 11 days in jail, and he continues to face charges. It didn't end there. The pastor's family was terrorized in their neighborhood. Their landlord threatened with harm if he didn't evict them. They were forced to move. They also had to pull their daughter out of school because she was being bullied.
My children's classmates were harassing them, taunting them that their father had been sent to prison. My children were embarrassed. I had to pull them out of school. They haven't been able to return.
Over the last year, Christian groups have reported a spike in similar attacks and harassment in Karnataka, especially after plans for a new law were announced.
The state of Karnataka is in the process of passing an anti-conversion law which targets conversions considered fraudulent or forced. But the definition of what is illegal is very broad and the punishments very strict.
Right-wing Hindu groups here strongly support the law. Manjunath Hibsur was amongst the men who stormed Pastor Avaradhi's church. He alleges that Christian congregations like Avaradhi's brainwash Hindus into rejecting their religion or offer financial incentives to convert. The law, he says, will give them strong grounds to put an end to this.
Once the law comes, we can demolish these churches. We are already prepared to demolish them, but we are waiting for the law to be passed. Once it is passed, our hands are no longer tied. We are free to take action. We can catch them and report them to the police, and they'll go to prison.
For now, Pastor Avaradhi visits church members at home and only in areas considered safe. This man and his family were also forced out of their village after the attack on the church. But they say they find comfort in prayer. All they want is the freedom to do so in peace.
Well, DW's Delhi correspondent Nimisha Jaiswal filed this report and she joins us now from Delhi. Nimisha, these attacks have been going on for some time. Why is the government not doing more to protect these Christian communities?
Well, Gerhard, the simple reason is that the government is often one of those making these allegations. In the case that we just watched, the BJP's elected representative was actually one of the people who led the protests following the pastor's arrest and actually called for action against him. Now, of course, it's important to note here that India's Christian community is one of the oldest in Asia and dates back centuries, yet the target of these groups, as well as BJP legislators, is those who were born Hindu and have either officially converted or are covertly believing in Christianity. But, of course, BJP legislators legislators themselves have actually been present or have made speeches that directly call for action and sometimes even violence against these communities. And they are, of course, also pushing anti-conversion laws across the country.
Well, tell us more about this anti-conversion bill. What's its purpose?
Well, to look at the one in Karnataka, Gerhard, interestingly, it's called the Freedom of Religion Bill. And if you look at it simply, it actually just prescribes ways to convert. For example, it says that you should let authorities know a month before converting and also report your conversion a month after it. However, all these reports actually allow for time for Hindu right-wing groups to attack or abuse these people. So this is generally avoided. In addition, many kinds of conversions are considered fraudulent or forced and can be charged. The word allurement, for example, is used for what is considered illegal, and that has such a broad definition that pretty much anyone can be charged with forcing conversions, and anyone can report these conversions as well, not just family, but neighbors and bystanders too, and strict action is taken against these people.
Nimisha, India has also been recording a rise in attacks on minorities for quite some time. How is this impacting the Modi government's popularity there?
Well, while international condemnation and attention has been brought to the fact that attacks on minorities are rising in India, domestically, political analysts believe that this could actually be adding to the Modi government's popularity because of this government's agenda of a Hindu Rashtra or a Hindu nation, which is being promoted not only through policies like these, but also laws and as well as silence on attacks on minorities. Now, this, for example, can include saying that Christians are forcing conversions or saying that Muslims are marrying Hindu girls and practicing love jihad. All of these allegations demonizing minorities and saying that Hindus are under threat and that Hindus should take over power and should be the religion that drives the nation. This, of course, plays well amongst the voters for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government as well.
The W's. Nimisha Jaiswal there reporting. Thank you very much, Nimisha.